As long as we're alive, we got a chance.
YouTube, what's going on, man? Just had a long one. Started at 3. It is 4:19, so I'm long overdue to be at home. But man, we pushed through and got the day done. Now I'm headed home to the kids and the wife. But on that note, I made a status today in terms of just basketball, and I posed the question: would you rather, as a parent, send your kid to a school with a big basketball tradition that has a stacked team, and your son is good, but he's gonna have to sacrifice being on that team? Like, he might have to play out of position. He might have to sacrifice parts of his game to stick to the game plan. You know what I'm saying? He might be overlooked a little bit when it comes to recruiting. So if he's one of those players that's kind of on the bubble, the D1, D2 bubble, or the D2, D3 bubble, or just bubble getting playing in college at all, he might get knocked down a notch just because he really can't, get off like he wants to. But at the end of the day, like, he went to a winning program and they won. They won. They win and they won, and he was able to capture a state championship at this program. But he probably, lost out on looks at going to a university for free for 4 years, and just certain things he missed out individually. But just as a team, they won. So would you rather do that, or would you rather send your kid to maybe like a rebuilding program, or a program that might not be as highly esteemed as other big programs in the area, but it's solid, coaching is solid, but there he gonna have an opportunity to really put all of his skills on display. He gonna be playing his right position, because in Wisconsin, if you anything over 6'3", for the most part, you're gonna be a post player, because people are small. Kids got some size now. Back in the day when I was in high school, everybody was small. So if you had a little bit of height, you know what I'm saying, you probably going to be a post player at some point in your high school career. But would you rather go to a school where you didn't have to deal with any of that? You got to hone your craft and develop your skills. And individually, you was able to have, a lot of success. You might not have had as much success winning, but individually, like, you did your thing and you was able to get a D2 or a D1 full scholarship, 4 years paid. Which one would you do? I was thinking about the question, and I'm not even gonna lie to you. First of all, I gotta have my son make decisions that he want to do. I can't force my son to do anything. Now, he's still a minor. He's still in my household, and I can guide him and have a pretty big influence on what he's doing. But at the end of the day, like, I still want him to have say in his decision. But if it's up to me and he asks me, "Hey, Dad, like, what should I do?" I'm gonna tell him the real. Like, "Hey, man, winning is cool. Like, we play the game to win, but you got to understand, in the moment state championship isn't gonna pay for your school, bro. That's not going to take care of you after high school. And if you're one of those players that's on the bubble at a stacked high school and really can't show what you can do, and you miss out on a athletic scholarship, now what? Like if your grades are not at a certain point, you probably gonna have to pay for school. You probably gonna have to do loans, or you might not even have the opportunity to experience college just because it's too expensive. And that free ride, that free athletic basketball scholarship, could have been your ticket to get out the hood or get out from wherever you are, go see the world, go learn, go network. So at the end of the day, man, that is the win. Like I hear coaches saying and other former ball players saying it's about winning, it's about being a part of stuff, and that is true. But at the end of the day, like, what's best for me? I'm not gonna be a member of such and such high school forever. Like that's just the fact. I'm gonna play these 4 years, then after I'm done, I gotta move on and figure out life. And why not use basketball as a tool and put myself in the best position I can to be able to take advantage of basketball at the end of the day? I can still love the game, but also still use it as a tool to get where I want to get in life. Luckily, with me, like I fell into this. My story was part of the reason for this. Like, came into high school as a shooting guard, got moved to the post, and had to play the post my whole career when I was a perimeter player. Like when I went to college, I got moved to the wing. I played the wing a little bit my senior year, but I feel like I didn't receive the right development in high school because my program was good. You was kind of already expected to just do that outside of school. Like our coach's job was to put the best pieces out there to put out a winning product. And if you're not doing what you need to be doing outside of this practice or this gym, it's not my job at the end of the day. It's cutthroat, but it's the truth. But I feel like had I went to a school that saw my potential and played me at the shooting guard position and actually told me things to do to get me ready for the next level, I probably could have got a D2 scholarship. Like I played D3, but I probably could have went D2 somewhere. Like just being real, like in terms of me shooting the ball, physicality, strength, just knowing the game, I feel like maybe that maybe could have been a potential thing for me. But I don't regret Dominican just because all the stuff I got like outside of basketball, just the environment, the people I met, the stuff I learned, like it grew me as a person. So I can't even complain about that decision. But when I think about like players in the city who was really good, but they was on a super stacked team and basically got overlooked, I think of two players. On one side, I'm gonna give an example of a player who was overlooked, and because his AAU team was stacked and his high school team was stacked, I think he could have been a mid-major D1 player, at the least a Division II player, and that's James Pruitt, aka Louis. I'm gonna get into Louis in a second, but then on the other end, it's another player I'm gonna mention who he really didn't have the best athleticism, but when I say had a banger, probably the best jump shot in the area, had a handle, was crafty, and had the opportunity for 4 years to show his skill set in high school and went D1 out of high school. That's Tony Main. Like Tony Main, I interviewed both the cats, but Tony Main was a guy, his senior year, he averaged 30 because his coach gave him the keys. And I want to say his junior year, he was probably in the 20s too. He played varsity all 4 years, was able to do his thing. By the time he was senior, he could shoot any shot he wanted. Like, let's just be real. The man averaged 30. 30 is a really good high school game. He averaged that because, like I said, the ball was put in his hands. Now, if we can, and I'm going to say this too, I got respect for Louis. I got respect for Tony. I think both of them, I looked up to both of them as kids. They both got game, but they journeys kind of took two different paths, I feel, because of the situations they was in. Now let's start on Louis. Louis played for DTA, which was probably the best AU team in the area, even in the playground, but super stacked team. Then he went to King, who was probably them and Vincent was the best two teams in the area. So he was a 4-year player on varsity. He won 2 state championships. He won one his freshman year. Then he won one his sophomore year. Junior year they missed out on state, and then senior year they lost up at state. But Louis was a dog. Bro could defend. Bro could score. Bro was crafty. He had a handle. He could get to the rack. Dog was nasty. He'd talk some shit to you. Louis was cold. Like Louis, in terms of like my childhood, Rufus King was probably the program I watched the most coming up. I thought I was going to go to King at one point. But like Louis was a dog though, and anybody from that era will tell you the same. But I think what happened with Louis was so advanced as a freshman because he started his freshman year, but he was so advanced as a freshman. And then when them other crop of players started to catch up, he kind of just got, lost in the shuffle. And by senior year, like, bro, you can't take the ball out of AZ hands. You can't take shots from Troy. When Corey come in the game, and that's the crazy thing, Corey, one of the best players in the nation, his class, didn't even start on that team. But when Corey come in the game, you gotta let bro touch the ball. So it's like Louis touches are already like they not really there. So when he get the rock, he gotta take full advantage of his moments and his spots when he get the rock. And he basically gotta be a utility / role player and do all the dirty work just to have impact. The one thing I will say about Louis is bruh knew how to win. You know what I'm saying? Just because he didn't get 40, Louis, I bet you, knew how to make a play to help the team, get in position to win. Like, super smart player. He was tough as nails. But, and I mean no disrespect with this, I am not saying Louis was better than Tony Main. I'll leave that up to y'all to debate. But if you take Louis and put Louis on that Thomas More team and let Louis go, that's scary, bro. Ain't no way you can't tell me Louis couldn't average 18 to 19 points, get 7 to 8 rebounds, 4 to 5 assists, being the guy on that team. Probably even more. You can't tell me he wouldn't have had a couple like big 30-point games. You can't tell me Louis wouldn't have had a couple like big defensive games where he just sat on the other team's best player. But like I said, because King was so stacked, you can't take the ball out of some of them guys' hands. Like I said, Troy went to Green Bay. AZ went to UW, or he was supposed to go to UWM. K-Lou went to Michigan State. Big Mitchell went to South Carolina. Jared Jenkins went to Stevens Point. Like, that is a roster. Then you got Eric O'Neal. You know what I'm saying? Quentin Smith, he walked on that Wisconsin. Who else was on that team, bro? Like, just loaded roster, man. Like, loaded. So, like, it's like, yeah, I got 2 state championships from this. But in terms of continuing my basketball career after high school, and he didn't really get the looks he wanted, he stopped playing and lost love for the game. And it's like, and Louis told me his story, and it's other things I was in the play at the time. But if he had somebody that could have been in his ear and said like, "Hey, Louis, after his sophomore year, man, you did your thing here, but we need to get you somewhere where you can shine, bro, because we need to get you some looks." Like, I think that would have been beneficial for Louis. Like, send him to Pius, send him to Wisconsin Lutheran, send him to another school in the city. Like, who knows? Like, just somewhere where Louis could really shine and get his shit off. Like, for real, for real. But then, like I said, on the other hand, you got Tony Main. excellent jump shot, crafty, heady basketball IQ. But Tony Main wasn't the best athlete. You know what I'm saying? Tony Main had a good handle, but he didn't have a Laniel Harris handle on field. He didn't have a Corey Lucius handle. So if you put Tony Main on that King team, you swap the two, and you put Tony Main on that King team, Tony Main averaged 30 on that King team. I think anybody from that era is going to tell you no. Do I think Tony Main will still get his shots and probably put up 15 to 16 points? Yeah, he could probably do that. But does that necessarily mean he's going to go D1 out of King? And I think, to be honest, 15 to 16 might be a stretch. I think if Tony Main played on that 06 King team, first of all, I don't even know if bro start. He maybe might start. That is up for discussion. If you put Louis on the Thomas More team, there's no question he's gonna start. If he don't start, either he didn't have the grades or the coach racist. Like that's it. So, but he's gonna start. But is Tony Main starting on that 06 King team? And that's not even a slight, because every guard was D1. Like again, K-Lou D1, Troy D1, Laniel D1. So it's like, that's not even a slight to say I'm going to be the first guard off the bench on that team. But does he average 30? Does Tony Main get D1 looks out of King if he does King for 4 years? Let's say we put Tony Main on that DTA team Louis was on, and we put Louis on stay in the game because that's what Tony played for. Do Louis get some more looks? Like in the interview with Louis, Louis thought about going to Playground, but because he was so loyal to Marty, you know what I'm saying, he wanted to stay and be loyal to DTA and the team who he came up with. But he thought about going to Playground. You put Louis on stay in the game. What happens? You put Louis on, let's say, DW Wildcats. What does he average? You put Louis on the Spartans. I don't know, somewhere where he could really get his shit off. Hey, we might be talking about Louis in a different light in the basketball world. But I just feel like all them things you got to take into consideration when making a decision to send your kids somewhere. Like, yes, winning and trying to be the best definitely is important. I would never tell my son, like, hey, man, when you get in this game, make sure you have 20. But if you win, that don't really matter. Just make sure you have 20. I would never let my kid think that's okay. But at the same time, if I know my kid got potential and he kind of bubbling, and it's 3 to 4 dudes that's ahead of him that's around his same age, I wouldn't want to send him there. Again, that's another point. Like, if I send my son to a stacked team and he's a freshman and he got a year to learn underneath those guys, that's a good look. Like, if I got a son now who got some buzz, he's a freshman, and he about 6'1", 6'2", he got potential to grow, I would want to send him to Juneau and play behind Dooney and learn from Dooney and get his ass busted in practice by a guy like Dooney or a cat like Youssef to sit and learn for 2 years. I'd do that. So by the time he a junior and it's his time to shine, my man had 2 years to watch the best. And Dooney, you know what I'm saying, at Juneau and Youssef at West Dallas. Shout out to them cats. But if my son is in the same grade as Dooney or the same grade as Youssef, and he played the same position, and I know he got potential and he's a on the bubble D1, D2 player, I don't know if I'm gonna want to send him there. Because at the end of the day, like, you can't take the ball out of Dooney hands. You can't take the ball out of Youssef hands. And as somebody who know the game, you get that. And I feel like as a parent, I'm gonna try to get ahead of that and explain that to my son. Like, we can still find a good situation for you. But if you go there, just know you're going to take a back seat to them. And as your father, I can't be blind and tell you that you're getting done wrong. Like, no, them kids are just that good. And you're going to have to find a road. And that could potentially hurt your recruiting, son. So it's all about being honest. I remember another cat who I had on the pod. Aaron Womack. And he said when it came to him making a decision to pick a school, he wanted to go to Wisconsin Lutheran. But Wisconsin Lutheran was so stacked, like he would have been behind Kahn and Landon Key and the other lefty. He went to St. Cloud State. He was pretty good too, but he would have been behind that crop of guys. But instead, he chose Dominican and worked his way up. Now he at Syracuse. Does he make it to Syracuse if he go to Wisconsin Lutheran and be a backup for 3 years? Who knows? Can't say he will, can't say he won't. But I think he played it right. You know what I'm saying? He went to a good program, and eventually he became the man, became the scoring leader, and now my man is, you know what I'm saying, he in Orange now, in New York, doing his thing. So it's all about perspective, and it's all about, at the end of the day, what the kid want to do. Because you can want for your kids, but if they want to go to school, this is a dream school. They love it. They want to make friends. They want to be in the environment. They want to, play for this. End of the day, man, I can't live through my son. So, but at the end of the day, I do have the responsibility to keep it real with him and explain the ramifications of what his decision will be. Like, hey, man, you could go there, but just know, like, the role you might have there is not going to be the same as if you go somewhere else where you can have a bigger role and get more exposure. And I know people say AAU, but it's all how you play. Go to a stacked AAU team, go to an okay high school where you can be the man, or go to, an okay AAU team where you can be the man and go to a stacked high school. It's all perspective at the end of the day. But what's more important is, man, the kids to know that basketball isn't everything, and while they at these schools, man, get y'all schoolwork done and just try to grow as young men. Because at the end of the day, man, the game don't last forever. You're going to have to eventually move on. Even when you make the league, like, you're going to have to figure it out when the game is over at the end of the day. And I feel, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with maximizing your ability and using basketball as a tool to put you in rooms that you wouldn't be in had it not been for the game. It's my opinion. Man, I'm almost home. I'm tired. You can see that I got a permanent scar right here because I don't get sleep. That's literally like a bad scar because, like I said, I don't sleep like I should. But we tired, but we're going to keep pushing, man. One day we're going to get 8 hours of sleep. But, man, I love y'all. This was dope. I'm going to have this posted out. And be on the lookout, man. I got some interviews in the works. I got another big one that's going to be just dope for the city to get this man's story. I'm excited. Hopefully we can get the details down and get it locked in. But we're working over here, man. Best of luck to y'all. Best wishes to y'all. Much love to y'all. Happy New Year's, man. From Cut Talk. Man, y'all stay locked in with me. Please like, share, subscribe. We out.